right, peace and wellness, family, peace and wellness. I hope that y'all are well and happy and whole and all that good stuff. Hey, wellness community, I see y'all butterflies in the sky. Hey, I can go twice as high. Hey, take a look. It's in the book. Take a look. It's in the book. Take a look. It's in the book. It's the wellness community. Uh, it's the wellness community. Ah, hey, family. I hope that y'all are well. We are here today. The intention today is to unpack our full moon in Sagittarius that will be coming up very early in June. It will be on June 3rd, peaking at 11:21 p.m. Eastern Time. With that being stated, y'all know the shadow period starts about 3 days before and can last up until about 3 days after the peak of the full moon. Okay, so that means that tomorrow, May 31st, will begin our shadow period of this full moon in Sagittarius energy. So, my intentions with this video, as usual, y'all know I like to get into it. I like to talk about how this energy may impact us. I also like to identify about 5 things that we should do and not do, 5 journal prompts that can help us really unpack our feelings, emotions, actions, mindset, spiritual wellness during this time. Also, identify 5 crystals and 5 herbs that we can utilize for spiritual baths, for smudging, making teas, different, use them in our food, any way that you wish, hold them, meditation, so on and so forth. But 5 crystals, 5 herbs that we can utilize in order to help this energy align with our wellness and really utilize all of this full moon and Sagittarius energy for our wellness. But first, family, first and foremost, let's get into all that is happening in our planetary alignment during this time, okay? Wellness community, as y'all know, if you are in the wellness community, you will have access to the notes. They are already typed up and drafted up, okay, in the Patreon. As soon as this video is over, I will be posting them. If you are not in the wellness community, you may want to take notes. I'll definitely let y'all know what portions I think you should probably take verbatim versus which portions you probably could shorthand note, okay? But for the wellness community, y'all gonna get my full detailed written notes, okay? As soon as this live is over. Now let's get started, family. If you're taking notes by hand, you can really shorthand this portion. So on June 3rd at 11:41 a.m. Eastern Time, 11:41 a.m. Eastern Time, we have a full moon peaking in Sagittarius. As I stated, that shadow period starts May 31st and lasts up until about June 6th. So June 3rd it peaks, but the shadow period, the energy can be felt and will be present from about tomorrow, the 31st. I had to check the date. I said, child, is today the 30th? No, tomorrow is the 31st. From about tomorrow the 31st until June 6th, we'll be able to feel and utilize this energy. And the question I often get, right? I always get this question every time I post a moon video, right? Or any video about planetary alignments. I always get the question, is it too late to do this work? Is it too late to do this? Let me go ahead and answer this now in case you are seeing this video late. It is never too late to do anything that is aligned with your wellness. It is never too late to do anything that your spirit is calling you to do. It's never too late to do anything that you desire to do. So when we talk about the full moon and we talk about various aspects of planetary alignment, we're essentially just saying that this is the peak time that all of the energy, the planetary energy, is in alignment to help do these things. However, that does not mean that if the planets are not in alignment, you won't be able to do this. That doesn't mean that, your actions and your works won't be fruitful because the planets are not energetically in alignment with the time period that you're doing it. Sometimes our spirit may call us to wait. Sometimes our energy may call us to hold on, not right now. Sometimes you may need to spiritually rest. You may need to take a break, okay? So this is when I say give yourself grace, be gentle with yourself. just because, the planets are in alignment to be a catalyst. And when I say catalyst, it essentially means to speed up this energy to make it easier. It doesn't mean that you have to move out of alignment with your wellness. And another thing I want to point out, because as I said, I'm going to give you 5 do's and don'ts. I'm going to give you some journal prompts. I'm going to give you some things that you can do, right, to really, again, utilize this energy for your wellness. But another thing I want to point out is, you guys, you are not required to do everything. Do what is in alignment with your spirit. Do what makes you feel well. There's going to be some things I name that you're going to be like, that general prompt may not really be speaking to me, or that do or don't may not really be calling to me, or I may not have access to that crystal or that herb, or I don't really like utilizing that thing. That's okay. Do and use what is aligned with you. Don't be afraid to try new things. Don't be closed-minded, but as long as you are being open-minded, you're following your spirit, that's all that matters. Okay, so I just wanted to put that message out there. Yes, for this next week, this is the energy that will be in alignment with regards to the planetary alignment, right? With regards with the energy of the universe, it will be in alignment, but you can do this work at any time. So be gentle with yourself, give yourself grace. I know a lot of people struggle with, mental health and things like that. And some folks struggle with depression. And, this has been a heavy conversation recently where some folks can't even get out of bed. And I don't want you to feel guilty or use this as another thing to feel bad about yourself if you don't have the energy to do these things right now. Simply do what you have the energy to do. Do what's aligned with your wellness, essentially. Just be gentle and be graceful with yourself, okay? Now let's get back into it. Okay. So again, on June 3rd, we have the full moon peaking at 11:41 p.m. Eastern time, and the shadow period lasts from about May 31st until June 6th. Now, full moons are all about revelation and release. They reveal things to us that we need to release in order to elevate in our wellness journey in any aspect of our holistic wellness, mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally. Okay. Now, Sagittarius. Sagittarius is a mutable fire sign. To be mutable essentially means that Sagittarius energy is all about being able to adapt and change, right? To be able to kind of transmute and transform. Fire energy is about passion and desire, okay? So a lot of the Sagittarius traits is very assertive. They're very good leaders, also very compassionate and passionate people, having a lot of empathy, longing, deep conversation, right? Sagittarius love to like dive deep into everything. They can be a bit analytical, but also very good at looking at like the bigger picture of things. Okay. So very open people in a sense, open-minded, optimistic, which is all of the energy that we will be feeling right now. Now, there will be some things that will interact, but it's all going to come into balance. So let's get into those things, okay? So Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. We know right now Jupiter is in Taurus. So again, going with that passion, Jupiter is the planet of abundance and expansion. So really expanding our desires, expanding our ideals, our philosophies, and heavy in the energy of abundance, heavy in the energy of manifestation. But remember that full moons are all about revelation and release. So during this time, it's really heavily about releasing things that are blocking you from expanding, releasing things that are blocking you from manifesting your abundance. Okay, so we're going to be talking about a lot about like limiting beliefs, which if you are in the wellness community, y'all know we've been reading The Greatest Secret, and y'all know, well, we read it. That was our book of the month. We had our book club meeting on Saturday. Our book for next month has already been chosen. Okay. But in The Greatest Secret, they talked a lot about limiting beliefs. Another book I love is The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks, where he talks about upper limit problems and, essentially pushing this idea of unpacking your limiting beliefs. So that is some things that we'll be focusing on during this time as well. Okay. Now, another thing we have to keep in mind is that the opposing energy of Gemini. So when we think about the zodiacs, right? When we think about this, we think about, say for example, you have Sag here. Gemini is directly opposing Sagittarius energy, and our sun is in Gemini. So the moon and sun energy is opposing during this time. Now, the moon is our emotion body, okay? So the moon being in Sag, this is all about how we may be feeling. And that's why I talk a lot about the energy impact. How may you be feeling during this time? But the sun, the divine, is about our ori, our spirit, our intuition, our divine connection. So with the sun opposing our emotions, there may be a lot of conflicting thoughts and things like that during this time. And the sun is in Gemini. So Gemini is all about duality. Gemini is all about being super detailed and super focused. Those are opposing energies because remember what I said where Sagittarius is about the bigger picture. Sagittarius is about being very open, very compassionate. Geminis are very much detail oriented in a sense. Okay, so a lot of these opposing energies, Geminis can also be a bit judgmental. Now some of this can work for your wellness if you know how to utilize both of these energies, but I'm telling y'all right now, we have to be very, very mindful. We have to be very mindful about how we are going to be moving forward during this time. So I'm telling y'all ahead of time, if you are a person who struggles with anxiety, if you are a person who struggles with overthinking, with overanalyzing, this may be one of the limiting beliefs that you want to do a release ceremony for during this time because it's going to really be present during this time. When you have heavy opposing energies like the moon in Sagittarius and the sun in Gemini, that's a lot of your divine intuition telling you to focus, your divine intuition telling you that this is the thing, this is the purpose, but also having that emotion body telling you, oh nah, it's other options. Oh nah, think about the bigger picture. Oh nah, kind of try this and try that and try this and try that. So having your intuition telling you that this is the thing for you and having your emotions kind of be scatterbrained and tell you go look and go search and go seek, it may be conflicting at times. Okay, so I'm giving y'all that forewarning now. All right, but we'll get more into that later. Now, let's talk about the trine. I rarely talk about trine energy. I rarely talk about trine energy. Thank y'all so much, moderators. I appreciate y'all. If you are looking to join the wellness community, patreon.com/the Queen Poe. Thank you so much. And it's also at the bottom of the screen as well. Now, I rarely talk about trine energy, but trine energy is important, okay? And the reason I rarely talk about it is because let me explain. So if we think about the zodiacs and then you have, the sun in Gemini, the moon in Sagittarius, the trine would be 1/3 of the circle. So it's the planet that falls in the middle. It's the zodiac that falls in the middle of the two opposing signs. So that is what we would call the trine planet, or the trine sign is what we would call the how could I describe it? The harmony, right? It's the harmony. So it's what brings harmony between the two opposing energies. Now, rarely do I point out trines, although they're important. I always find that, the trines help bring harmony to the energy, but I like to give folks the freedom to find the harmony and the balance for themselves. You see what I'm saying? I don't want us to become, I don't want us to become too dependent upon the trine to find our inner balance. Okay. And I hope that makes sense, family. That's why I'm not big on like pointing out trines, although it's good, I don't want us to become dependent upon seeking that energy in this way, in that specific way to find the harmony. I like to give everyone the space to find the definition of harmony between the duality, the dual energies yourself. Okay. I hope that makes sense. Now, this trine is going to be important though, because this trine is Mars in Leo. Now, Mars is our planet of passion, assertion, and leadership. So aligning directly with that Sagittarius energy of passion, right? That fire energy, that go get it energy. That is really what's going to bring the balance between that opposing Gemini energy of, hey, we got to focus in, we got to be here, in that Sagittarius energy of bigger picture. Let's go do this. Let's go do that. Although Sagittarius can be very passionate, they can be very passionate about doing too much. Sagittarius can be very passionate about everything, and then that Gemini energy is like, no, we want to focus on this. That Mars and Leo energy is kind of balancing the two and saying, hey, it's okay to explore. It's okay to seek. but seek and you will find. Let's seek and we will find the thing that is for us. Family, this brings us to the energy impact because this time period, and I'm telling y'all now, for everyone who may be struggling with feeling stagnant, you're feeling lost, you're feeling like you don't know what your next steps are, this time period is for you. This energy is for you because that trine, that Mars and Leo, is going to give you the energy to seek but also find. You're going to find your thing. You're going to find the thing that helps push you to the next step. And you will also have revealed, because remember that full moon is all about reveal and release. You will also have it revealed to you what is the limiting belief, what in your mind, what is the idea that is blocking you from actually achieving and elevating at the next level, okay? So for all of those, again, for those who are feeling lost, you're feeling stuck, you're feeling stagnant, this time period is for you. That trine, that Mars and Leo is your seek and you will find. The full moon in Sag is seek, seek, seek. Gemini is find, find, find. That Mars and Leo is what's going to bring the balance. Okay, so kind of like level us out. So don't worry about that. Now the energy impact. Okay, seeking new paths, ideas, and knowledge. So again, during this time, that full moon in Sag energy, as in Sag is the planet of Jupiter, is it leads Sagittarius energies, and Jupiter is all about abundance and expansion. So that idea of seeking new ideas, new knowledge, wanting to figure something out, wanting to try something new. All of that is that full moon in Sagittarius energy. Okay, that full moon and Sag energy is heavy during this time. So constantly trying to figure out what path should I take? What should I do? Having the energy to do that. But the key is knowing that in order to really find that path, you will need to release your limiting beliefs. Okay. And I'm going to keep repeating that because that's going to be a big deal during this time. Now, in order to release your limiting beliefs, you have to start questioning your limiting beliefs. So don't be surprised if during this time you start practicing a lot of self-reflection. Don't be surprised if you maybe identify some self-doubt, some self-sabotage, which has been a conversation in the wellness community recently. Don't be surprised if you start identifying, some things about yourself that's like really blocking you, some ways you think. Also, family, don't be surprised if you start desiring to transition out of some of your old spiritual practices. And this is especially for my folks that have been on spiritual journeys, wellness journeys for a long period of time. Don't be surprised if you find yourself wanting to transition out of old spiritual practices and things that you used to do. You may find that those things are no longer feeding you. Okay. Also, old ideas about what you thought was for your wellness, you may start realizing that those things are no longer feeding you. It's no longer filling you up. It's no longer serving you. So you during this time, you may some of your limiting beliefs that you may start identifying are just habits. It's things that you're doing out of habit as opposed to it's really feeding and serving your wellness. Okay. Sometimes when we're on a wellness journey, we can get into a routine. You wake up, you meditate, you do this, you do that, you use the same thing over and over, and it could even be simple things. I was in the oil shop with a friend. I had a friend come in town last weekend or a couple weekends ago, something like that. And we went to the oil shop, and I was telling him, I said, look, I said I had to grow out of my old sense. Okay. I was like, I had to push myself to evolve. Like I realized I was constantly getting the same things over and over, to where when I would walk in the oil shop, they'll be like, oh, you want this, this, and this. I need to evolve. I need to get out of that. And it's something as simple as that, family. So don't be surprised if during this time you start really like reflecting on your habits and feeling that urge to change something. Okay. So release some of those habits and add something new to your routine. That is in alignment with that full moon in Sagittarius, Jupiter ruling Sagittarius energy. Jupiter is all about expansion. Okay. Now, the next thing, challenging others to push their thinking and seeking deep conversation and emotions. That's Sag energy all day. Okay, so you will find yourself desiring, or maybe even just falling into deep conversations, but really like longing for that, really enjoying that, enjoying deep conversations, enjoying potentially maybe some gentle debates, okay, if you know how to gently debate. Okay, you may find yourself enjoying that energy, enjoying having these deep conversations that's pushing thinking and throwing out different ideas, challenging yourself and others through conversation, but really looking for emotional connection. Okay, now the next thing is sudden realizations that will lead to grace, compassions, and leaps of faith. Leaps of faith. I cannot say that enough. This energy, okay, especially if we channel that Sun and Gemini energy, that's that or read, that's that focusing the spirit, focusing the intuition, focusing our divine self, focusing our higher self. If we tap into that Sun and Gemini energy, along with that optimism that comes with that full moon in Sagittarius, this is the leap of faith energy. This is that I'm going to take a chance type of energy. So, I say this, family, because if we think about all of this energy together, don't be surprised if you find yourself seeking something new, deciding that this is your thing, and wanting to elevate and expand in that, even if no one before you has done it. This is the time where it's really like, and this is that fire energy with Sag, a lot of boss energy, a lot of leadership energy, a lot of I'm about to start this thing. I'm going to elevate in this way and do something new. And there is no precedent. You have to get comfortable being the first person to do something in your family, the first person to do something in your tribe of friends and relationships and things like that. You may have to be comfortable being the first. So taking that leap of faith to go out there. And when we get into the herbs later on that will help you with this, it'll all make sense. Trust me. Okay. And the last energy impact is the moon in Sag gives us big picture thinking, while the sun in Gemini gives us detailed focus. This is where those two opposing energies can conflict if you don't find the harmony and balance in it. Okay. So the moon in Sag gives us that big picture thinking, being optimistic, being open, while that sun in Gemini is all about being focused and detailed. The way to bring this energy together is to be able to have these grand ideas, have these grand ideologies, but focus it and channel that energy for how it could, to see how it could directly apply to you. How does this fit you? How is this for your wellness? How can you apply this energy, apply this idea to all from your wellness, through your wellness? How could you feed yourself and feed the multitude at the same time? Oftentimes, we become a little too selfless. You become a little too selfless and your cup becomes empty. So this is about how could I shift and change my passions? How could I grow and elevate along my wellness journey to where I'm well, I'm whole, I'm happy, and I'm able to share this with the multitude, the big picture and the fine detail. If you're manifesting a business, you're manifesting an idea, how will this business, how will this idea be abundant for you and also benefit the multitude, benefit the all, benefit the universe? So that big picture thinking, but having the fine details, you have to come outside of yourself. If you don't find this balance during this time, that opposing energy, you can go one way or the other. You can either be that opposing sun in Gemini where you become selfish and it's all about you. So, yeah, you're finding a new path. Yeah, you're starting a new thing and you're focused on that, but it's all about you. And you're rejecting tribe, you're rejecting community, you're rejecting the all. That's not healthy. If you go all the way to the other side, then it's all about the multitude. It's all about the people around you. This new path is going to benefit everybody, but then you'll end up drained because what about your wellness? What about your needs? So you have to find that balance between the two, okay? Now, I do want to give y'all a little bonus, which, as I always tell y'all, this is a very general bonus. Look at the Sagittarius placements in your natal chart. These are the areas you may be most affected. Okay, so you want to pull up your natal chart and look at the Sagittarius placements. You also want to look at some of those Gemini placements as well to see where that focus energy will come into play. Okay, So just be mindful of that. Pull up your natal chart. For natal charts, I prefer CoStar or Sanctuary. And Wellness Community in the chat, y'all can put y'all preferences as well. I know some people, it's one called Astro something. A lot of people have different preferences. I prefer CoStar and Sanctuary. Okay, those are the two that I like. I enjoy the most. But Wellness Community in the chat, y'all put the ones that y'all like to pull up your natal chart. Now let's get into the do's and don'ts, family. Okay. The first do, assess what areas of your life that you feel lost or stagnant in and decide how you want to elevate in that area. Create a vision. If you're taking notes by hand, you can shorthand this area and shorthand these notes and put it in your own language. But Wellness Community, y'all don't need to take notes. It's going to be in the Patreon. Assess what areas of your life that you feel lost or stagnant in and decide how you want to elevate in that area. Create a vision. Family, when I say this, let me tell you what I'm saying. Holistically, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, where do you feel stagnant? In any of those areas. And this is when we get to that Sagittarius big picture and that Gemini focus. Because spiritually, when it comes to your spiritual life, that's big picture. Where do you feel stuck? This is when you got to get that focus. What area of your spiritual life do you feel stuck in? Is it your communication with spirit? Is it communication with your divine self, with your ori, your intuition? Is it maybe your meditation practices? Is it your spiritual bath practices? Is it your home, the energy in your home? Is it connecting with the energy of your community? So that's what I mean when I say that Sagittarius big picture and that Gemini focus, okay? Big picture is the question, where do you feel stuck spiritually? The Gemini focus that detail what aspect of your spiritual life are you stuck in and what can you do? Where do you want to be? Create a vision for it. How do you want to be in that area? Create a vision for it, okay? So get into that and do that for all aspects of your life, okay? Spiritually, physically, mentally, emotionally. Where do you feel stuck? What is the vision? The vision means what do you want to become? Where do you want to be in that area? It's important to identify that vision, okay? You can't get somewhere if you don't know where you're going. You're just going to be wandering. So you got to have a vision, okay? Now, oh, you're welcome, Pamela. You're welcome, Pamela. I appreciate the love. Okay, now the second one. This is a don't. Don't be afraid to be the first person to do something or do an old thing in a new way, an unconventional way. Also, be open to asking for help. I have to put that in there, that be open to asking for help. Because let me tell y'all one thing. One thing about a Gemini, they be stubborn. Sagittarius is about community. Sagittarius is about love. So that full moon is Sagittarius. Sagittarius are optimistic, they're open, they're compassionate. They're very social beings. That Gemini energy can reject community. That Gemini energy can be very like, I can do it on my own, strong, independent. Strong, independent. I could do it by myself. That's Gemini energy. Don't allow that opposing sun in Gemini, which is that internal, that divine. Don't allow that opposing sun in Gemini to make you think that you have to do it on your own. Yes, you can be the first person to do something. Yes, you may be the first person to do an old thing in a new way, but that does not mean that you cannot have help while doing it. So just be open to asking for help, okay? Now, the third do, not want to listen to me closely. I hope y'all hear me well. Not wanting to fail is not the same thing as trying to succeed. Not wanting to fail is not the same thing as trying to succeed. Put all of your energy into succeeding at manifesting your vision. All of your energy needs to be focused in manifesting your vision. This means that you need to release your limiting beliefs. This idea of I don't want to fail, I don't want to fail, I don't want to fail. During this time, that needs to be on your bay leaf that you burning for your release ceremony. That needs to be on the bay leaf. The concept of I don't want to fail, I don't want to fail. Not trying to fail is not the same thing as trying to succeed. You cannot go into anything when it comes to the desire to be successful, when it comes to going to get it. You cannot go into manifesting with this idea of I don't want to fail. If your focus is on failure, that is what will manifest. So that idea, that concept cannot even be in your mind when you are manifesting, when you are working to succeed at something, when you are attracting something. That idea cannot even be in your mind. So that needs to be the first limiting belief that you write on your bay leaf and you burn for your release ceremony, is this fear of failure. That needs to go. Okay. Now, speaking of the fourth do a release ceremony for your limiting beliefs. Limiting beliefs are ideologies, philosophies, and understandings about self, community, universe that hinder or restrict us from moving forward. Identify them and release them. Identify anything that is preventing you from moving forward, any idea, any understanding. This is where the self sabotage comes in. Your limiting beliefs, this idea that you can only make it to a certain level, this idea that the world is working against you, this idea that bad things always happen to you. All of these negative beliefs, those are limiting beliefs. If you believe that bad things are always happening to you, bad things will always happen to you. If you believe that the world is working against you, the universe will conspire against you. You have to understand and know for sure that the universe is always conspiring in your favor. Things don't happen to you, they happen for you. Everything is working for your wellness. You have to trust that. You have to believe that. You have to know that. So, a limiting belief is any idea, philosophy, concept, ideology that works against that. You need to release that. And when I say do a release ceremony can be as simple as writing it down on a piece of paper, writing it on a bay leaf. You go outside, away from your home, away from your energy space, your dwelling. You go outside and you burn it and release it. The reason we burn it is to literally set it on fire, turn it to ash, and it is done to never return again. That energy can be transmuted for your wellness. Okay, so that's why we do a release ceremony. So you write it on something and you burn it. The reason that we don't put it in water and we don't I prefer not to bury it is because that's how we recycle. That's how we return unto the earth. So those are things that we manifest. So that's the logic, family, with the release ceremony and doing a burning ceremony versus like a burial or a releasing it into water. We don't want to put it in earth. When you bury something, you are essentially planting it. So a release ceremony is not necessarily a burial ceremony. Now, some things will be buried, but when you have to think of it, logic brain. When you bury something, you are planting it in ground. You are returning it to the earth to manifest and be abundant again. So you have to release it. If you want to release something, you need to burn it, turn it to ash, turn it to dust. It is gone. You could grind it in the ground, turn your back away from it, and walk. Don't look back, okay? Don't look back. Now, the last do. Mind your judgments of people. The low side of the opposing Gemini energy, the opposing Sun in Gemini, the low side of this energy, especially with the dual energy of Sag and Gemini, can cause us to judge people and situations based on our triggers. Do not project. And I'm telling y'all because, again, this is going to be a time where you're craving deep conversation, you're craving connection with others. You will find yourself having very deep and open and honest and vulnerable emotional conversations, okay? But you have to be mindful about not allowing that opposing energy, because all of that is Sag energy, the deep conversations, the vulnerability, the connection. All of that is Sag energy. Now, you have to be mindful about that opposing Sun and Gemini energy and not being judgmental, not being triggered by what people are saying when you're talking to them, when they're talking to you. Okay, do not be triggered. So mind your triggers, mind your judgments that's based on your triggers, okay? And do not respond from a space of necessary emotion. Don't respond from a space of emotion. Just be mindful. Like, if you find yourself being offended by something in wellness community, we talked about this in the Zoom. If you find yourself being offended by something, you have to ask yourself, why am I triggered, before you respond. Okay, you have to ask yourself those things. Now, let's get into the journal prompts. Okay, family, we moving kind of good. We only 34 minutes in. We already at journal prompts. So we're gonna do 5 journal prompts, 5 crystals, 5 herbs, and then we zang. Okay? Journal prompts. The first journal prompt, if you're taking notes by hand, this is the part that you want to write verbatim. Everything else you can shorthand. This is the part you want to write verbatim if you're taking notes by hand. Wellness community, it'll be in the Patreon. Okay? Journal prompts. The first journal prompt. Oh, child, I got a little. My water went down the wrong way. Y'all see me tearing up a little bit. Okay. The first, I feel like somebody said, "Slow down, sis, slow down," and that's why I got a little choke. I feel like somebody put that energy out there. Y'all wanted to slow me down so you could catch up with the notes. Okay, I got you. Journal prompts. The first one. What is a new practice that you are interested in studying or implementing? What is your intention for adding this practice? What is a new practice that you are interested in studying or implementing? What is your intention for adding this practice? Safe travels, Max. I see you. Safe travels, okay? Now, the thing about this journal prompt, family, is because as we go on a journey, right? As we go on a journey and we're studying and we're finding new practices, we're just trying things and trying things and trying things. And something I constantly hear is, well, that didn't work for me. I tried that and that didn't work for me. I tried this and that didn't do nothing for me. But something I want y'all to be mindful about, family, is that if you practice something with no intention, it's not going to work for you. If you practice something without having an intention for your practice, how will you know whether or not it actually aligned with you? How will you know whether or not if it was effective for you? Okay, so when you are practicing something, add an intention to it. What's the intention of this? What are you practicing this for? And when I say something, it could be it's something as simple as a new type of meditation, right? A new length of time of meditation. It could be a new anything you do for your wellness, using a new herb, taking a spiritual bath in a new way, going for this walk. What is your intention for that walk? What are you doing? What's the purpose? What's your why behind adding this practice? And then see if it aligned, and then see if it worked. Okay, so what new practices are you adding, and what's your intention for adding that practice? Now, the second journal prompt. What do you believe is the next level of elevation in your life holistically? This is that visioning. What is one belief that you have that is holding you back or limiting you from achieving your next level? So at this point, you are identifying your vision for each aspect of your holistic life, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. What is the vision? What do you believe is the next level of elevation in your life holistically? Let me read that again. What do you believe is the next level of elevation in your life holistically, physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally? What is one belief that you have that is holding you back or limiting you from achieving your next level? Okay, so this is the journal prompt that you are going to answer that will help decide. It's going to reveal, that's that full moon energy. It's going to reveal what your vision is and identify and reveal your limiting beliefs. And that's what you will practice your release ceremony for. So this is where you are identifying your vision. What is your idea? What is your vision for the next level in your life holistically? And then what beliefs, what practices are limiting you, are blocking you from achieving that next level? And that's what you'll do your release ceremony for, okay? Now, the third journal prompt. What is your definition of a deep conversation? What is your definition of a deep conversation? What do you need to feel safe enough to be vulnerable and fully open in a conversation? What do you need to feel safe enough to be vulnerable and open in a deep conversation? This is a moment where you're going to have to reflect on the time that you have had, hopefully it's multiple times that you have had some deep conversations that you had to say, "Ooh, that was a deep conversation. What happened? What occurred? Did you learn something? Did you teach something? What was the energy? What was the vibe? What are your signs that a conversation is a deep conversation?" I can I cannot. Nikita, always. Always, okay? Always. All right? Always, okay? It helps every time. It helps every time. Okay? So one of the things you need, okay, because I one of the question I said, what do you need to feel safe enough to be vulnerable and fully open? Well, you identified one of your things you need to feel safe enough. Okay. I feel you. All right. Now the next one, the fourth journal prompt. When is the last time you took a leap of faith? How did it work out? How did that affect your optimism? When is the last time you took a leap of faith? How did it work out? And how did that affect your optimism? Okay? Because see, for some of us, you may have taken a leap of faith and it didn't quite work out. And ever since then, you followed the same blueprint. You followed other people's path, other people's way of life. You kind of self-doubt. It made you feel insecure. And that may be your limiting belief that you need to release. That trauma from the time you took a leap of faith and it didn't work out may be what you need to release. Okay. So just be mindful of that. Okay. So that's the journal prompt that's really going to, again, help us reveal and identify maybe some limiting beliefs that's causing us to not take that leap of faith that we need to get to the next level. Okay. Now, the fifth and final journal prompt. How do you determine when to look at the bigger picture versus the details during life situations and in people? I'm going to read it again. How do you determine when to look at the bigger picture versus the details during life situations and in people? Family, I find it funny. I find it funny. Y'all know I do one-to-one consultations. Join the Patreon. That's our only right now. One-to-one consultations is only available to the wellness community. Okay. I got I think a couple dates open, 2 dates open, 1 or 2 dates open the last week of June, and then I'll be opening up my July calendar very soon. But anyway, I do consultations, and one of the things I find most often is that we pick and choose who we give grace to. We pick and choose who we give compassion to. We pick and choose who we look at the bigger picture for versus who we look at the details for. And I'm not saying that it's not a natural thing that some people do, but we really need to assess in ourselves why. Why was I able to give this person grace and not this person? Why did I have understanding in this situation, but I didn't have understanding in that situation? Why did I accept the apology over here, but I'm still holding on to the trauma over here and I have not practiced forgiveness for this person? Why in this situation did my emotions become so erratic and so heavily affected from this situation, but not necessarily in this situation, even though those situations kind of mirror each other? They were kind of the same. So this is how we really assess within ourselves. When do you look at the bigger picture versus the details in people and in situations? Who in your life may you be looking at the bigger picture of them versus the details of them, and vice versa? Yes. Yes, Deja. we have double standards sometimes. And I'm gonna just give an example real quick, okay? Because the example I'm gonna give, and I'm gonna quickly move on because I'm not trying to tussle with nobody. What Darcel say? I don't want to windmill. I'm not trying to tussle with nobody. Okay, what the sister said on TikTok. I know how you girls like to tussle, but the example I'm gonna give, some of us give a lot of grace to a man that we don't give to a friend. Some of us give a lot of grace to a friend that you wouldn't give to a family member. Some of us give a lot of grace to family members that you don't give to anybody else in this world. Okay, so what determines for you who you give grace to? Why do you look at the bigger picture? That man disrespected you 30,000 times and you done forgave him each and every time. Your friend missed one birthday because she had to go to a funeral and you mad. You ain't talked to her in 3 weeks. What's the bigger picture here? When does it count? I'm confused. I don't be knowing. I really don't. I really don't. Okay, and these are things that I even had to assess within myself. Okay, I was actually thinking about one earlier where I had two friends where I had, we all three of us, there was a situation, and I both of them apologized, and I found it was easier for me to forgive one friend than it was for the other. And I was thinking today, well, now we're all cool, but I was thinking today, like, what was it about that situation that it made it easier for me to forgive this friend versus that friend? And what I realized about myself was it really matters to me how you apologize. That's what I realized about myself. I realized the way people apologize really matters to me. Okay. And I won't go in detail about the difference right now, that this is not the lie for that. But that's something that through this assessment of what made me look at the bigger picture versus the details, and what was it that made me give grace to one and not the other through this assessment. Because I don't tell y'all to do nothing, I don't do. Okay. I practice what I be preaching. I be assessing myself as I'm writing the journal prompts. I'm answering them for myself too. Okay, just be clear. All right. There's sometimes I delete journal prompts because I'll be like, that ain't a good one. That ain't a good one. Okay, I'll be doing the work with y'all now. But the thing is, I realized through that journal prompt that certain things, the way people apologize to me matters. So then I had to dig deep and ask myself, what are my requirements for an apology? What types of apology work for me and don't? And do I apologize that way? Do I practice what I preach when I'm apologizing to somebody else? So that made me dig deep into my own inner work. Okay, but that's just that journal prompt. Now, those are the 5 journal prompts. Let's get into the herbs, okay? Now, I'm going to tell you these 5 herbs, and then I'm going to tell you a little bonus one. But I'm going to tell you these 5 herbs, and I'm going to tell you the purpose for each herb. If you're taking notes, I suggest that you take detailed notes. It's not long, but take detailed notes for this part. The first herb is High John. Now, High John, also known as High John the Conqueror, is high, like jump high. It's High John, John. High John, also known as High John the Conqueror. I like to call it the Dr. Buzzard herb because if you know anything about Dr. Buzzard, if you are familiar with Gullah Geechee culture, you're familiar with Hoodoo culture, Dr. Buzzard was a very, very, very big figure when it came to hoodoo. He was a well-known conjure man, well-known root worker, very big figure. Y'all can research Dr. Buzzard and everything. But one of his favorite herbs that he would utilize in a lot of his work was High John the Conqueror. Okay. Now, the thing about High John the Conqueror is it's used for justice, it's used for strength, it's used for protection. Okay, it's used for courage. So it's really considered like a all-purpose herb. Okay, it really it's considered an all-purpose. You can use it for anything, really. Okay, but he was known. There's stories about him going into courtrooms, and the decision works in his favor. literally everything shifts and changes. And he said he had High John in his pocket when he was in there. He did some work with High John before he went, and he came in with some of the remnants of that work with that High John in his pocket when he went in the courtroom. Okay, so High John the Conqueror is like, if you have anything dealing in justice, anything that you're working with when it comes to needing courage, needing strength, needing to take a leap of faith, something like that, which is the energy during this time, High John the Conqueror is really good. Okay. Now, High John the Conqueror, when you get it, I'm gonna tell you now, you can put it on charcoal. If you're going to use it to smudge, you can put it on charcoal. I got some. It's just far. I should have had it close to me so y'all can actually see it. But it can look like little stones. Sometimes it's in powder form. Sometimes it's grounded down. It depending on which part you get. Some people get like the actual the roots that grow when if it's planted too long, so for a period of time it'll start to sprout. So some people get the root that grow, some people get more. Okay, so different parts. For me personally, I like to get the seed. I like to get the stone, the resin version of it essentially, and I like to work with that. But you get whatever part you can get your hands on. Okay, get whatever part you can get your hands on. Now, the next part, the next herb, cinnamon or allspice, and this is for abundance. Cinnamon or allspice, this is for abundance, okay? Then our bay leaf, because of full moon energy, for dispelling. Bay leaf is all about dispelling and releasing. That's what bay leaves are for. Now, this next one is for your courage, your leadership, and that leap of faith energy, which is mustard seed. Okay, and with this mustard seed, I'm gonna tell y'all now. With this mustard seed, of course, you can cook with it, because again, when we utilize these herbs, you can cook with them, you can smudge with them, you can turn them into a spiritual bath, you could put them on your altar, you could turn them into a traveling altar, you could put them in a gree bag, you could put them anywhere, a mojo bag, a gree bag. A mojo bag is the same thing, okay? But you could put them in a mojo bag or a gree bag. You could use them for anything. Some people will put them like High John. Some people will put High John in their pockets. They'll put it in their shoes. Same thing with mustard seeds. You could put it in your shoes. You could keep it in your pocket. You could put it in a gree bag. Now, if you choose to smudge with it, it's going to release a very strong gas, okay, a very strong odor. So I don't advise necessarily smudging mustard seed. I don't necessarily advise that, but you can grind it down and of course use it in your food. You can cook with it, okay, with the same intention for leap of faith and for courage, okay? Now, the next one, this is the fifth herb, black pepper or red chilies. Right, black pepper or red chilies, and this is for purification, protection, and a catalyst. It speeds up the energy. So anytime you're doing any type of work, okay, and for me personally, I always add a little bit of, y'all know my fave is my cayenne pepper. Okay, my cayenne pepper. I always add a little black pepper or some red chili flakes to any of my workings to help speed up and be a catalyst for the energy. Okay, so it's for purification, protection, as well as a catalyst. It speeds up the energy. It helps things work faster. And of course, again, this full moon is in Sagittarius, which is a mutable fire sign. So all of that is in alignment. All right. Now, again, the 5 herbs: High John the Conqueror, cinnamon or allspice for abundance, bay leaf for dispelling, mustard seed for courage, leadership, leap of faith, and black pepper or red chilies for purification, protection, and to speed up, to be a catalyst. Hush it up, Deja. My cayenne pepper, cayenne. My cayenne pepper, cayenne. Okay, cayenne pepper. I can't stand y'all. Y'all get on my nerves. My cayenne pepper. Okay. Now, the bonus when it comes to this herb work, okay? When it comes to this herb work. And when I say herb work or root work, I'm talking about anything that grows from the ground. Anything that comes from the ground is herb work, root work, all of that, right? So it depends on which part of the herb you're using. Some people use the leaf, some people use the stem, some people use the root, but all of it, anything that grows from the ground that you use is considered herb work, root work, all of that. Okay, so the last part, including the seed, which I say that to say this, the last part, right? This is a little bonus. Flaxseed. Flaxseed is very good during this time. Flaxseed is for healing and beauty. And family, when I'm telling y'all, this is a bonus, okay? I'm telling y'all, You make you a flaxseed gel, and there's a lot of videos and directions on YouTube of how to make flaxseed gels and stuff. But you use a flaxseed gel, you got to rinse it. Now, after you use it, you got to rinse it, but you use it as a mask. If you're dealing with eczema, you rub it on your eczema. You can use it as a hair conditioner. You can use it for any reason. But let me tell y'all make y'all some flaxseed gel. You can add some cinnamon or some allspice to that flaxseed gel. You add, once it cools down, you add you a little turmeric in there. And honey, you do a face mask, you do a hair conditioner, you could put it in a spiritual bath, and it's all for healing. It's for healing the body as well as for beauty. Your skin will be glowing, hair will be glowing, everything, okay? So, I'll just say I had to decide what I was gonna go in details, okay? But guys, if you have waves for guys with waves or people with waves, anybody with a low cut, that you have waves, if you want to, once your waves to lay well, you make a flaxseed gel, right? And you put the flaxseed gel, you brush it, brush, you lay your do-rag on top of it, and then you rinse it. You rinse it with cold water. You rinse it well. Let it dry, and them waves will be laid. I promise you that, okay? I promise you that. So that's everybody there. That's everybody that has like a low cut. If you want some waves, you want your hair to be laid, I promise you that. I ain't going into details, Daisy, because I ain't want to say how I know. I practiced it, okay? What Beyonce said, no, Kelly, I'll brush your hair. Let me put your do-rag on. You want a foot rub. You want a manicure. Babe, I'm yours. I want to cater to you, boy. Let me cater to you. Cause baby, this is your thing. And if anything but my man, baby, you blow me away. Yes. Use it for your waves, okay? Use it for your waves. Lay them down, but you gotta rinse it because flaxseed gel will flake up on you, okay? It will flake up on you, so it needs to be rinsed. You can use it for a face mask, but you gotta rinse it and rinse it with cold water so that you can keep the shine. If you rinse it with hot water, you'll lose the shine. The key is you want to rinse it with cold water so you can lose the shine, okay? Let's move on to the crystals. I ran back through the herbs already. I don't even need to repeat it again. The crystals. Turquoise for wisdom and clarity. Topaz, clear or blue topaz for communication. Citrine for manifestation and enhanced passion and emotional stability. Amethyst for peace while releasing the baggage. And labradorite for enhanced discernment and transformation, to be able to transmute that energy. I'm going to say it again. For the crystals, 5 crystals: turquoise for wisdom and clarity, topaz, it could be clear topaz or blue topaz for communication, citrine for manifestation, enhanced compassion and emotional stability, amethyst for peace while releasing baggage, and labradorite for enhanced discernment and transformation. Okay. Those are your 5 crystals. Okay. So, wellness community, I am publishing the notes right now. They are published in the Patreon. Okay, everybody else, I hope that you took good notes. If you need to rewind, please rewind. Let me see what you said. Is this a great time for leap of faith to new careers? Listen, so how can I put this? When we think about, and I'm going to run through this very quickly, okay? The way the moon phases work, the full moon is conducive for revelation and release. It's okay for right now, it's okay to identify what's that leap of faith you want to take. It's okay to identify that new career and the leap of faith you're going to take in the new career. But what you're doing right now is you are focusing on revealing and releasing what is limiting you from taking that leap of faith, okay? Revealing and releasing what is stopping you from going to that next level, right? So then as the moon continues, okay, now listen closely, okay? Because our moon waxes and wanes, all right? So hold on one second. I'm going to get you some dates of when you can start focusing on taking that leap of faith, okay? Hold on one second. So let's say around, because our next new moon is June 18th, June 15th. Okay, June 15th. You can actually take the leap of faith. So what happens is, as our moon wanes, okay, as our moon wanes, which means it starts to go down. Okay, hold on. I want to make sure my phone don't go off. I had to turn it on. I'm gonna make sure the sounds don't go crazy. But as our moon wanes, we'll feel the energy of our limiting beliefs start to release, okay, as the moon wanes. Now, once you have a new moon, so 3 days before the new moon, that'll be the shadow period. That's when you can start taking that leap of faith and start moving in that direction. Now, as the new moon progresses, that's when your manifestations and your things start to come into fruition, okay? So just be mindful of that. Diddy. I didn't even realize he done knocked down on the pillows. Why y'all ain't tell me Diddy back here done tore up everything? Why y'all ain't tell me he done tore up everything back here? Y'all seen Salon back here tearing up. Y'all supposed to be aunties and uncles, and y'all back here, y'all done seen Salon back here tearing it up, and y'all ain't said nothing. Y'all just watching. Y'all just watching him act up. That's crazy. That's crazy. I ain't even know. Back here cutting up, and y'all just witnessing it. I can't never let y'all keep my kids. When I have kids, I know who I ain't letting babysit. 300 plus people on here, and not now person got in the chat and said Queen Diddy out of control back there. Not now person. Y'all ain't watching the baby. Okay? But as I was saying, during this full moon time, you want to focus on reveal and release. As the moon as the moon wanes, everything that you are desiring to release will start to dissipate. You'll notice that it's going away, it's releasing. Then once the new moon hits, that's when you set your intentions to take that leap of faith. As the moon waxes, that's when you start manifesting. You'll start seeing all of the energy attract to you, the fruitfulness from your leap of faith, and then the process continues. Okay, it just repeats itself. So that's how we work with the moon energy. Okay, so this is not the time to take the leap of faith. This is the time to reveal and release what is limiting you from taking that leap of faith. Okay, so that's it in short. Okay, that's a very short version. I have a full video about the various moon phases and how to work with the moon. Okay, I already have a video about this, but I want to go in more detail. Also, if you're in the wellness community, I put this in a newsletter. In one of our early newsletters, back when I used to do the newsletters, we had a section called Waterworks, right? So where I explained the different types of water and how you use them. That was probably back in like 2020, I want to say. I put that in the newsletter. I'm gonna do a video talking about moon water, because just so y'all know, you can do moon water right now for this full moon, with this full moon in Sagittarius. But just know that this is all about optimism. So if you do moon water right now, meaning you set it out, let's say you set it out the night of June 3rd, because the moon peaks at 11:41 p.m. Eastern time, June 3rd. So you put it out the night of June 3rd when the sun goes down. You bring it in the morning of the 4th before the sun comes up. That will be full moon in Sagittarius water. This water could be used for optimism. This water could be used for leap of faith. This water could be used for releasing things that are blocking you, for blockages, So that's what this water could be used for. Now, this is the thing. When it comes to utilizing this moon water, you want to be mindful. In any moon water, you have to be mindful to bring it in before the sun comes up. Because as I stated, family, with the sun is for purification. The sun is for cleansing. Okay. So that's why when we want to charge our crystals, we recharge them, you put them out in the sun to purify them and cleanse them. And then you can recharge them with new intentions. Okay. But when the sun comes up, you're purifying the energy. So when you put it out in the full moon or any moon, you're infusing the water with the energy of that moon, and we bring it in before the sun comes up, because we don't want to purify and cleanse the water of the energy. Okay. So that's why we bring it in before the sun comes up, just so y'all know. But I'm going to do another video where I talk about, how to utilize the various types of water, when to utilize them, when it's best to collect them, and all of that. So y'all y'all can look forward to that coming very, very soon. But it's very, very important that we utilize, what the earth blesses us with. And we always talk about, I always talk about herbs and like crystals and things like that, which gets into like, our land and things like that, our root work stuff. But a part of root work, a part of the land is also the water. So we got to know how to utilize our water beyond just moon water, okay? Because there's also sun water, there's also rainwater, there's many types of water. And then you can even turn those different types of water into different things. So look for that video coming soon, okay, family? I love y'all. Thank y'all for showing up, all 350 of y'all plus. I appreciate you. I love y'all, and I will see y'all soon, family. Okay. Happy full moon. Happy full moon. The shadow period starts tomorrow. So enjoy all of this energy. Utilize it for your wellness. Get the crystals and herbs that you can. Make your smoke bowls. Take your spiritual baths. Do your beauty regimen. Do all the things that you need to do in order to utilize this energy for your wellness. Okay. You deserve it. I love y'all, and I will see y'all soon. Wellness community. We may have a Zoom on Saturday. Yeah, let's see. Let me look at the calendar. Yeah, Saturday is the 3rd. So we may have a full moon Zoom on Saturday. Okay, I'll keep y'all updated and let y'all know. All right, but the replays for the last Zoom is in the Patreon. I posted that this morning. I love y'all. I'll see y'all soon, and peace.